This video will cover papillary RCC and tubulocystic RCC. Let's anchor ourselves by first looking at what type of store this is. You guessed it, since papillae are finger-like projections, this is a foam finger store. But hold on, notice how the foam fingers are mostly purple? That's not a coincidence. This is because these tumors are classically basaloid, in other words, purple on H&E. Additionally, we've got a crab, which is the universal symbol for cancer or carcinoma, and the crab is in a cage, or you could even say a cell. The crab in a cell represents carcinoma in cell. There's another small hint that we can use here too. Because there are tons of these foam fingers, you could say that the foam fingers are very common in this area, wherever this is. Because have you ever seen a store that sells exclusively foam fingers? Well, this can represent the fact that papillary RCC is the second most common RCC. The next thing to remember about papillary RCC is the fact that foamy macrophages are a commonly seen feature, and this is represented by this tasty looking mac and cheese bowl here. But it's not just any mac and cheese, it looks like they've put some whipped cream, or you could even say some foamy cream on top of it. Mac and cheese represents macrophages, and of course the foam represents foamy. Whoa, hold on. Someone called Guinness World Records because this has got to be the largest samosa I've ever seen. For us, it represents samoma bodies, commonly seen in papillary RCC. The last point to remember about papillary RCC is that the tumor needs to be larger than 1.5 centimeters. If it's smaller than that, it is considered a papillary adenoma and it is benign. So we've got a sign right next to our crab here saying that you need to be larger than 1.5 centimeters to purchase it to represent this. Okay, now let's talk about tubulocystic RCC, and this will be quick. To anchor us to tubulocystic, we've got this character here who is blowing bubbles while holding a PVC pipe. The bubbles represent cystic and the pipe represents tubular. The points to remember about tubulocystic RCC is that the cells commonly display a hobnailing pattern and that this tumor grossly looks spongy. To represent hobnailing, take a closer look at this character. Yeah, he's a hobbit. And to represent spongy, yep, you guessed it again, just look at his t-shirt.